Hello, welcome back to Grad Girl Rambles. It's Brianna here with a new video about the APIC process. So I wanted to just get on here quickly and do a video about how to select sites. By the time I post this, it'll be August before the next cycle, or I guess the current cycle of APIC internship. It's the APIC internship cycle. But I know some people do start really early and some kind of start around this time. So I just wanted to do something about selecting your sites and what to be looking for. So I think when you think about what you want for your internship, some of the things to consider are, what are some of your future goals? So what are some of your, I would say short-term and long-term. So I think for people who are specifically interested in like neuropsychology, that's short and long-term. And a lot of the times I'm not in that area, but I know that having a neuropsych internship is something that people highly recommend. Don't know if it's required, but that's something to think about. But if you're also interested in, having a career working with a certain population, that might be something you want to consider. Also think about, where are the gaps in your training? So for me, I do not have a gap in assessment. In a school psychology program, we focus a lot on assessment, so I have a lot of that experience. Although I would like to get more of it, it's not a priority for my internship year. So think about, what are some of the experiences you haven't had yet that you would like to get? What are some areas that you maybe had some exposure to, but you want more? So things like that. What populations have you worked with or have you not worked with that you want experience with? For me, I have a lot of experience with like elementary and I would say like high school age. I don't have a lot of the in-between and I don't have the really young. And because I want to work with children of all ages, I wanted more experience trying to bridge that gap as well. And although I say to find something that kind of aligns with your goals, I think everyone has different advice on whether you should get generalist training or get really specific training. I think that is a conversation for you, your DCT, your family, like anyone, any mentors you have, kind of figuring out what would be best for you. So for me, because I'm coming from a school psychology program and I was looking at primarily clinical internships, I really wanted kind of this generalist training. I didn't want to focus too much in one area because there were still a lot of areas I wanted to grow in. So I sought a lot of like community mental health, outpatient like private practice, hospital, academic medical centers, which is where I am. And so those kind of allow me to get a breadth of experiences and not just kind of focus in on something really specific. But then all that is great and dandy. You think about the training you want, also think about like geographically where you want to be. Then you still have to find those sites. A lot of sites are super popular, which means they're super competitive, but you likely know which ones those are in your area and those might already be on your list. But when you are applying, they say to apply to, 12 to 15. It actually became hard for me to think of that many sites within all of the things I was looking for because I didn't know all of them. So ask students or recent graduates who've already gone through the process, like, where did you apply? What kind of experiences did you get there? Ask students who are currently interns, like, how do you like where you are? Do you feel that, especially if they're from your program, like, do you feel like our program prepared us for this? Or do you feel like you're drowning? Find people who are doing the kind of work you see yourself doing in 5 to 10 years and kind of see what they did. Like, what was your trajectory like? And then other ways you can do it are, something that I did was, I'm on a lot of listservs, which I've mentioned before, but in those listservs, it's not just people looking for resources, it's also people hiring for postdocs. And even though you're not in the postdoc process, what I would do is, if I saw a postdoc posting come through and it was interesting to me, I would go to the website of whatever institution, hospital, whoever it was, and see if they had an internship that was similar. So that's another way to kind of see, like, okay, maybe that's a postdoc I would like in the future, but do they have something more immediate for me that I could look into? And then once you have the sites that you're interested in, don't stop looking at 15. At this point, you have until the first applications are going to be due at the beginning of November. I think some are due like early, not early, like late October. But you have a couple. The cat's food is dropping. Okay. Okay. I don't even know if you could hear that, but it was very distracting for me to hear the cat's food dropping while I was talking. What I was saying is, find all of the sites that you're interested in because you may find that as you find more, some sites might just drop off your list, and that's okay. So, think about what your goals are. Think about the people who are doing the things you want to do. How did they get there? What steps did they take? Think about the gaps in your training. Thinking about where you want to be, like geographically, is important. However, I will say, if you've been watching my videos, you know I did not match in phase 1, and part of that is, again, I want to reiterate that I had no issue getting interviews, but I restricted myself geographically, and so the options I had were actually super competitive sites. So I don't regret having those restrictions because I knew where I didn't want to be. But if your geography is not a huge deal breaker, consider expanding it a little bit because where I am right now was not on my radar. But I like it here. And that. So once you have all your sites, organize it in a way that makes sense to you and includes all the information that you need to make your choices. So for me, I have a Google sheet that I used, which I will share in the description, but it has a lot of different columns for a lot of different things, like the stipend, where it's located, what experiences they have, what rotations they have, literally anything that I needed when it came to ranking my sites. And then, once I've had those listed, I was able to kind of filter through based on certain things. So I'll share that Google sheet. You can, I think you can save a copy of it if you want, and I hope that helps. But selecting the sites is really just the first step, but it can be a hard one and it can change while you're writing your applications. So just wanted to share that. I will share videos about writing essays and how I did that, how I wrote my cover letters, and then later down the line, I'll do a video about ranking and I'll include some tidbits about phase 1 and phase 2, but don't think about phase 2. I just want to have it in there because that was my experience. Anyway, that's all I'm going to share. I hope this is helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for how people can find certain internship sites. So I will catch you guys later. Bye.